When it comes to early German metal, everyone knows Scorpions and Accept, but you hardly ever hear about the third German band pioneering heavy metal in the early 80s. Today we're going to take a look at the music, the albums, and the weird history of traditional heavy metal band and influential rockers, Trance. Trance from Edenkoben, Germany was formed in 1978 as Age, with Markus Berger on guitar, Hans-Peter Janser on bass, Stefan Gurden on drums, and Lothar Antoni on vocals and guitar. They'd quickly changed their name to Trance in 1979, and after placing highly in a couple of local music festivals, Janser and Gurden would leave and be replaced by bassist Thomas Klein and drummer Jürgen Baum. Trance would also bring on rhythm guitarist Michael Kessler, but he'd leave before Trance recorded their first single, A Hard Way to Go, with both Markus and Lothar on lead guitar.
I've been the puppet, jumping jack. I've been the hated, been a living the rag. I've been a slave, I'm not fierce. I've been laughing, hiding the tears.
Lothar's vocals won't be for everybody, with that raspy, mostly high-pitched delivery. But I love a unique singer, and for me, it works. Also, while the track is very straightforward and not super heavy, I like it too, in part because of its simple yet hooky riff. You also have to keep in mind that Accept's Breaker album had only itself just come out 2 months prior, so things were definitely still in a developmental phase.
So hard, way to go, till you find someone to love. It's a way of toils and snares, and you have to be so tough. Such a hard way to go, till you find someone to love. It's a way of toils and snares, and you have to be so tough.
The single was essentially a self-produced demo, which cost the equivalent of $3,000 to record, since the band took the extra step of putting it on vinyl. But this immediately made them stand out from the competition, since other bands were recording demos on cassette tape, and the gamble ended up paying off, with the band getting signed to Rockport Records. This development immediately energized the members of Trance, who began putting all of their time and money into the band, along with their manager.
Am nächsten Morgen um 5 Uhr. Karl-Heinz Osche, der Manager der Gruppe, jobbt im Hauptpostamt Neustadt. Sein Mathematikstudium hinge an den Nagel, um sich ganz der Promotion der Trance zu widmen. Gleich neben Karl-Heinz sitzt der gelernte Bauzeichner Markus Berger. Noch vor wenigen Stunden brachte er mit seinem Gitarrensolo die Fans in Raserei. Am Nachmittag hört Karl-Heinz das Konzert des Vorabends durch. Er arrangiert Veranstaltungen, schreibt Pressetexte, baut Kontakte auf und bemustert Redakteure mit Informationen und der ersten für 5.000 Mark selbst produzierten Single.
Trance also had the luxury of moving to a rented rehearsal space after primarily using Lothar's parents' cellar.
Was halten Sie denn davon, dass Ihr Sohn in einer Rockgruppe spielt?
Ja, das ist eben die heutige Musik und da muss man sich halt mit begeistern.
Also ich bin vollkommen dafür, dass die Rockgruppe, die hat, so wie ich es sehe, schon mal Erfolg. Nur zu laut darf es nicht werden.
Die Gruppe hat früher hier auch geprobt in diesem Keller. Wie ist das denn gelaufen? Hatten Sie Schwierigkeiten mit Nachbarn?
Eine alte Frau von 84 Jahren. Da hat ein Nachbar der Gartenstraße Unterschriften gesammelt. Und da hat die alte Frau von 84 Jahren gesagt, lassen Sie doch die Bube gehen, ich höre sie gern.
Despite this upswell of local support, the German music market was still mostly dominated by foreign bands, so success was far from guaranteed as Trance released their first album, Breakout, in May of 1982.
Run away, the light to save your hungry magnets in chains, the soul's flying in a trail. Try to make
things considered, Breakout is a great early German heavy metal album. Although it's fairly rudimentary in a lot of ways, like how the opening title track doesn't really have a chorus. I guess the guitar is the chorus? It's still awesome though.
We are trying your life to try to get fight against our rules. World is waiting for your help. Trying to make it.
Musically, the album is still early in the development of German heavy metal, so there are a lot of hard rock qualities still baked in, along with some Scorpions influences. It's not speedy or flashy, yet Breakout manages to deliver a distinctly heavy metal attitude and powerful energy through absolutely kick-ass riffs, and frankly, Lothar's passionate vocals.
I'm a man full of passion in life. And it's my music that keeps me alive. 'Cause all I do is rock and roll music. I'm a man full of speed, full of drive. I'm a wheel, keep on rolling along. Maybe an ocean, somebody inside. All I would be the fool and cry like a dog when someone takes away my song.
But even with a very straightforward, very traditional heavy metal approach, Trance keeps things pretty fresh on here, with some tracks going for slower, powerful riffage, and others with more focus on high-flying leads. And I kinda joked about it earlier, but I love how involved the lead guitar is in many Trance songs, where it almost feels like a second vocalist at times. There are multiple songs I'd like to mention from this album, like Get It Now or Ain't No Love.
We're living like a rat on the flight, and our heart is no retirement right. We are too greedy, oh, we can't get it now. And after all, we know the reason. There ain't no love. Ain't no love. Ain't no love. Ain't no love.
Or Baby Child, an excellent emotionally charged ballad that closes out the album. But the song I have to talk about is Loser, the 7-minute long surprise radio hit for the band. I think there are better songs on the album, like the ones I mentioned, but this one still rocks pretty hard with a mid-tempo, brute force riff. But what makes it really stand out to me, besides the length, is the amazing bridge section. It starts off with a soulful solo and then builds into this cool crescendo, which again is very simple but super effective.
Ihr hattet das bis jetzt nicht immer leicht gehabt mit eurer Gruppe. Gab es da irgendwann mal einen Moment, wo ihr eigentlich aufhören wolltet, weil es nicht so gelaufen ist, wie ihr das eigentlich wolltet?
Nein, an für sich gab es keinen Moment, in dem wir aufhören wollten. Lief immer gut, wir haben an die Musik geglaubt und das hält uns fest zusammen und das ist unsere Zukunft.
Seht ihr die Chance, dass ihr ganz groß rauskommen könntet?
Die Chance, ja.
With the help of Loser, Trance would see some breakout success, and after a European tour, they'd follow up Breakout with Power Infusion in 1983.
Don't wake me, please don't shake me. I'm dreaming, please don't break me. She's come to take me by the hand, to lead me to the promised land.
I love this album. It's tighter and more focused than their debut, adding more speed and heaviness to the catchy melodies.
Come on, take me through the night. On your silver wings, shine bright. Come on, take me, I am yours. So I can feel your metal bones. You let me rock, you let me steam. So don't get out of my dream. Heavy metal queen.
Plus, the double lead guitar attack of Markus and Lothar continues to be a highlight as well. In some ways, Power Infusion doesn't stray too far musically from Breakout, but it definitely turns things up a bit and explores more heavy metal variety, kicking off with two speedier, upbeat tracks, Heavy Metal Queen and Rockstar. But as much as I love those, I think the closer, Storm and Thunder, is the closest thing to speed metal on here.
We're so alive to the children. See, I am chasing metal bombs. Where is the gun to us kill them? We only got shit a chance. Alien on a dream, you know what I mean. Stop and thunder. Daisy, another dream. The changes the scene. Stop and thunder.
But we also get some slow yet powerful stuff like the melancholic ballad Children of Illusion, or the more epic and driving Burn Your Lies. Plus, Burn Your Lies also has another one of those badass head-banging bridge sections that Trance do so well. And of course, there are several straight-up catchy rockers like Glass House, Shock Power, and Sensation. But my favorite song off here, and possibly my favorite Trance track period, is SLD, Speed, Leather, and Danger.
They don't need no sticks, they don't need no chains, they ain't got no bullshit in the brains.
I'm not even sure I can tell you exactly why. I just think this track has one of the coolest riffs ever, and the chorus kicks ass.
Leather and nature, life means road to road. Daredevil's cool adventure, burning fire in the soul, yeah, yeah, yeah. Speed, leather and nature, life means road to road. Daredevil's cool adventure, burning fire in the soul.
Both Breakout and Power Infusion were big hits for Trance, selling around 150,000 copies between the two. And the band would spend over a year touring, opening for bands like Accept and Warlock. In 1985, Trance would move over to Dieter Dirk's studio, who had produced some of Scorpion's best releases, to record their third album, Victory.
Highest tension in the air, when the night is on, coming straight from the heart, ecstasy. Million lovers fall in trance, when the night is on, it's coming straight from the heart, get it on.
Victory is just another super solid, catchy album that I'd put up there alongside Trance's first two, with essentially the same formula of powerful riffs, catchy leads, and melodic choruses. It's still very much in a traditional heavy metal vein, but like with Power Infusion, Trance also leaves room for more emotional stuff, like the steamy ballad Rien ne va plus.
Both win or lose, try to get it again and again. I'll play the game. Both win or lose, try to get it again and again. Rien ne va plus.
And of course, stuff pushing more into speed metal territory like One Man Fighter. However, this album also sees Trance pull way back on those epic bridge sections in favor of more traditional guitar solos. But again, the bulk of this album is straightforward heavy metal, with deceptively inventive guitar work on energetic tracks like We Are the Revolution, Apocalypse Now, and Break the Chains.
Girls and boys, take off your jeans. It's time to break the chains. Rock your body in the streets, be one and break the chains. It ain't a shame to feel the heat. We got to get down and break the chains.
This is another one that showcases Trance's sometimes unusual song structure, with 4 stanzas instead of your typical verse-chorus. But it's still a lot of fun, even if some of the lyrics are a little confusing, and I love the harmonics toward the end too.
What do you always talk about, but never move your ass to break the chains?
look how happy Lothar is playing those power chords. And how can you not love his red headband? Anyway, listening to it now, I think Victory is another great Trance album. But in 1985, the straightforward metal style wasn't gonna cut it for much longer. The thrash, speed, glam, and extreme metal scenes were already gaining a foothold even in mainstream markets. Plus, power metal was right around the corner. So that was likely among the issues that made recording Victory a difficult process, since the band and Rockport Records apparently each had very different ideas about direction, marketing, and even artwork for the album. This led to Trance separating from their label and management, which forced them to change their name to Transmission. They'd also try to move the production of their next album entirely under Dieter Dierks, but he was too busy with Scorpions and Accept, so Trance would return to Rockport Records for their fourth album, Back in Trance.
You don't know where I go. You don't know where I'm coming from. Take my hand, I lead you far away. Fly away through the universe of love. Fly away to the world of thousand suns with my time machine.
I'm not really crazy about this one. I don't know what musical concessions, if any, Trance had to make to return to Rockport, but either way, this one goes in a poppier, kinda AOR direction with the songwriting. It still retains some heaviness, but overall it's a lot lighter, which I feel makes Lothar's vocals sound even more strained. I guess there is some sappy enjoyment to be found here and there if you're into that sort of thing, and the guitar solos are mostly still pretty sweet. But the only track that really feels worth mentioning from Back in Trance is Power of the Heart.
Millions of places, million faces I've seen. Happiness and sorrow in the eyes. Feelings reflecting on the scars inside. And open hearts could burn the ice and start it to break down a wall of lies.
It's still very polite and unaggressive, but even so, it's got a powerful, uplifting feel and sounds a little more like what you might expect from Trance.
We can feel, we can fight, 'cause we all have the might to understand and help the world to make it right. We can be tough and hard, and always do it from the start. Come on and set it free, the power of the heart.
I also quite like Lothar's flamenco-style finger-picking solo on this track too. The band would get the rights back for their original name after this and put out their fifth album, Rockers, as Trance in 1991, this time on Mausoleum Records.
There are still 1,000 things worth the fight for. Still a light that shines on you. On the loose, we're gonna make it on the loose. We're gonna
actually like Rockers overall. It still has a very commercial-leaning feel, but where back in Trance didn't really seem to know what it was doing, Rockers at least feels more focused with better songwriting in general.
Silent cries, no one ever hears. Silent cries, caught behind the tears. Silent cries, leave their scars behind before they wear you down. Take breath and scream it out.
It's not nearly as memorable as those first 3 Trance albums, and it's certainly not pushing any boundaries, but I think Rockers is still a really easy album to listen to, with genuinely catchy melodies. And not surprisingly, there are some really nice guitar solos on here as well. So even though it's obviously lighter, I'd still recommend this one. I think every track on here is at least pretty good, although for me, the cheese factor is also part of the appeal at this point. And in that category, no other song on here compares to the single, which is not only a cover of When a Man Loves a Woman, but is actually a duet with Percy Sledge himself.
Dachten erst, der wollte uns hochnehmen, aber tatsächlich nächsten Tag stand er da. Wir haben uns kennengelernt. Er hat mächtig gelacht, als er unsere Version hörte, aber das war eigentlich so der ausschlaggebende Punkt. Es war ein sehr sympathisches Lachen und wir saßen dann bis in die Nacht bei ein paar Brandys und Ähnlichem und kamen eben zusammen auf die Idee, warum machen wir es nicht zusammen, ne?
But best of all, it got a bizarre music video where a young girl has her first day at a new school.
He'll change the world, all the good things he's found. And see is bad, he can see it. He can do no wrong. Turns his back on his best friend, heading for the town.
The girl catches the attention of one of her new classmates, who can't get her out of his head. In fact, he's so busy daydreaming about her, he almost misses the teacher call him up to the board to do the unthinkable: math. The kid is either too flustered over new girl's wicked striped pants, or he hasn't been paying attention in class, because he gets nervous and drops the chalk. The new girl is really concerned about this for some reason, and has a vision where she sees the kid as a rock star.
I'm so in love with you, baby. Please don't treat me bad.
So the girl decides that the best way to solve this on her first day at a new school is to take the other kid by the hand and just leave class.
And still blame him for a fool. He's the last one to know. Loving eyes can never see. Willing in my
This was actually meant to be the final Trance album, but after its release and the subsequent tour, demand for the band was still high. so Trance decided to form their own production label and release a new album in 1993. And if you thought When a Man Loves a Woman was strange, nothing can prepare you for Boulevard of Broken Dreams. Man, where to begin? Without even getting into why he's dressed like a clown, there are so many bonkers ideas on this album. Like the breakdown on the opening track, which feels somewhat inspired by Falco's Rock Me Amadeus.
Listen to part 2 of the Tragical Show. Won't you listen to your radio? There's some other guys singing our beautiful song, and everyone is shocked by it to the bone.
This is a new entry in the Hot 100. This is number 1, MC Holton and The World of Trance.
Seems we're always down on luck. Natural piss, we all say fuck. You will never break my spine. Money's yours, but the music's mine.
Musically, it goes all over the place, and much of it misses the mark in my opinion. There's whatever World of Trance is, the new agey ballad Close to You, or I Believe in Rock and Roll to the World, which are both sing-songy tracks similar to something like Slade maybe. And then there's Painted Skies Behind the Borderline, with its sort of Fleetwood Mac vibes. And somehow this album got 2 music videos, including Earth and Fire, which has more of that weird spoken word delivery and some heavy bass.
First eternal darkness, then was ready to explode. Then the bang, the fireball, the light that brings sunlight.
Then winds came like a hurricane. They were blowing free ecstasy easily. Then clouds rained and the oceans came. Elements of liberty, virginal earth and fire.
It's better than most tracks on the album, I suppose, but still kinda underwhelming overall.
See me running, see me running. I can't believe the tragic change. See me running, see the coming. Now do you know the consequence of earth and fire?
The second song to get a video was for the instrumental title track, Boulevard of Broken Dreams. I'm not sure what's more surprising, the fact that they never seem to explain the clown outfit, or that the track is actually pretty awesome. This is overall just a weird album, and I'd say a lot of it is pretty skippable, but I've always liked this instrumental. In 1994, Trance would put out Shock Power, basically a re-recording of their first 2 albums, minus 3 tracks for some reason. I used to have it at one time, but I can't find it now, although I don't remember any major differences. Further internal issues would break Trance up once again after Shock Power, although Lothar and Markus would continue on with drummer Manfred Reckendorfer and guitarist Andreas Meyer. With Lothar handling bass duties, this lineup would release Die Hard in 1996. This one is a bit better than Boulevard of Broken Dreams, but it's still pretty out there, featuring more kinda experimental ideas and strange musical styles, like a bizarre cover of Michael Jackson's They Don't Care About Us. I can't say there aren't parts I like here and there, but nothing really worth pointing out. Although Die Hard does include a little more in the way of heavy stuff compared to Boulevard of Broken Dreams. In 1998, Trance would finally break up completely, with Lothar taking some time to focus on making children's music, as seen here with some kids who may or may not be hostages.
Deine Sonne mal nicht scheint, ja wenn der Himmel weint, dann brauchst du einen Freund, der sein Leid mit dir teilt, mach mit. Ist dir zu Hause auch mal öd, du findest sie alle blöd, sie sagen keine Lust, keine Zeit, keiner der dich versteht, mach mit. Hey, Baby, mach mit, komm, mach mit, alle für einen.
But in 2002, Lothar would resurrect the Transmission name along with Andreas Meyer on guitar, Joe J. Hagel on bass, and Alex Franken on drums to record Back in Trance 2.
Back in trance. Fighting for delivery, we are back in trance. Feel the power to come, we are back in trance, back in trance, back. Ready for you.
Back in Trance 2 still isn't that great. While it does feature more straightforward songwriting than the previous 2 Trance albums, which is nice, a lot of it feels fairly generic and not worth getting that into. Although, I do honestly like the track, Jesus Was a Headbanger.
I believe that if Jesus would be born today, he'd become a headbanger. I believe he'd become a rock and roll singer. Oh, anyway, Jesus was a headbanger.
The rest is largely just a mix of ideas with a general focus on hard rock heavy metal, but along with percussive pop and dad rock vibes mixed in. Unfortunately, the next 2 albums are pretty hard to find, and I was only able to track down a handful of tracks from each. Mine, from 2005, seems to be mostly in a melodic heavy metal direction, and overall I liked what I heard, but the track that stood out the most was Motor Rider.
Speed limits try to take him to the ground. Anyhow, don't have
And Naked Flames from 2012 appears to go in the same direction, but I can't really review it since I heard so little.
I can see it in your eyes. I can feel it in your touch. Come on and feel the fire.
So it's hard to tell what the entire album is like, but I imagine the really wacky stuff just isn't out there, because the next full album I could find was 2015's Paranoia, and it's very much like back in Trance 2. Mid-tempo hard rock and generic metal with a lot of weird ideas, like a take on Mozart's Queen of the Night. But again, a lot of it is just fairly laid-back, basic rock that feels more like a passion project than a polished band with a focused direction.
Incognito, hidden and quiet, conspiracies from all sides. You don't know, but they know what you do. But it's too late, they reach for you. Paranoia, eyes behind the mirror. Paranoia, spy in the neighborhood. Paranoia.
So Paranoia would be the final full-length studio release from Transmission. However, back in 2011, Markus Berger, Jürgen Baum, and Thomas Klein had teamed back up as Trance, along with keyboardist Roland Marshall and vocalist Daniel Werfel. But he'd leave by the end of the year to be replaced by new singer Joe Strubel.
Skyscraper starts to sky. Mother Nature just a stone. You build up a rubber world. You gotta lose your own apocalypse. No! Apocalypse! No!
But in 2013, Jürgen would leave once again and be replaced by drummer Jürgen Kapner through 2016, when both he and Roland Marshall would leave. To fill in behind the kit, Trance would bring in Neudi, the busiest drummer in Germany, as well as a second guitarist in Eddie St. James. This new lineup would record the first new Trance album in over 20 years, 2017's The Loser Strikes Back, again on Rockport Records.
Walks like sin to the mystery of darkness. One gets chained, one breaks free. Watch 100 souls when the devil wants to say. We are two fighters back for the last century. We are hell riders back to the light to be free.
The Loser Strikes Back is really solid overall, and easily the best Trance or Transmission album since Victory. It's very much in a straightforward heavy metal direction, which Trance should be, and features Neudi's brutal drums and some strong vocals from Joe.
You take me to open space, and right through heaven, 'cause you are my destiny, my treasure inside, my yoga in light. You open the skies.
There's also a very cool re-recording of Loser on here, along with a sequel of sorts in the title track.
Attack! Attack! Attack the loser! Strikes back! Strikes back! Strikes back! No mercy! Man! Reject! Reject! Reject!
Since Noity also had commitments with Manila Road at the time, he'd be replaced on live shows by Jens Gellner. But in 2018, Trance would bring in new vocalist Nick Holman, who'd just recorded an album with Vicious Rumors, and Eddie St. James would also leave to be replaced by guitarist Joris van Rooyen. This lineup, along with Noity on drums once again, would record the most recent Trance album, 2021's Metal Forces, released on Metalopolis Records. I don't really understand why the official music video for The Fighter has clips of the video game Ghost of Tsushima in it, but the Metal Forces album is fantastic regardless. While The Loser Strikes Back did a great job of just returning Trance to a more grounded metal style, Metal Forces cranks things up a bit and delivers some truly memorable tracks. Equally confusing are the clips used in the music video for As Long As I Live, which are from a Bosnian short film called The Dragon. But again, confusing videos aside, Metal Forces is excellent and features some very nice solos from Markus Berger. However, my favorite track off Metal Forces ended up being the album closer, Ballad for a Group.
A final break, the last hello, the song I felt has left my ears. We go backstage and try to rest. The road is when smoke fills the air.
It's a relatively more elaborate composition that starts off with a sad ballad opening and builds into a speedy, head-banging rocker. And I was shocked to find out that this track was actually written way back in 1977 by original bassist Hans-Peter Janser.
Somebody good and somebody fine, but all the fear still the
Transmission, believe it or not, are still around, with Andreas Meyer on guitar and Joe J. Hagel on bass, plus Daniel Schart on drums, I am not making that up, guitarist Martin Troutman, and vocalist Christian Haas. They released one EP in 2024 called Changes, with 6 re-recorded transmission tracks, and I can tell you nothing about it since it doesn't seem to be available anywhere. I'm not sure why Lothar dropped out of the band, but he sadly passed away in February of 2025, so it may have had something to do with health issues, but I don't know for sure. As for Trance, they're still together, but have gone through a couple of lineup changes, with Markus, Thomas, and Noidi currently joined by guitarist Callie Kaldschmidt, who had also produced Metal Forces, along with vocalist Alex Stahl. This lineup has yet to release any material, but hopefully we'll get to hear something soon. For now though, that is Trance. And Transmission. Your homework for this one should start with Breakout from 1982, Power Infusion from 1983, and Victory from 1985 as must-listen albums. I would also toss on Rockers from 1987, and I'll also include The Loser Strikes Back from 2017, but Metal Forces from 2021 is the superior album in my opinion. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this look back at Trance, a highly influential band in the formation of German heavy metal that hardly ever gets mentioned these days. But check them out for yourself and let me know what you think. As always, thanks for watching and see you next time.